Our gospel lesson for today comes from the Gospel of Matthew, the 6th chapter. Jesus said to the disciples, "Beware of practicing your piety before others in order to be seen by them, for then you have no reward from your Father in heaven. So whenever you give alms, do not sound a trumpet before you, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, so that they may be praised by others. Truly I tell you, they have received their reward. But when you give alms, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your alms may be done in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you. And whenever you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, for they love to stand and pray in the synagogues and at the street corners, so that they may be seen by others. Truly I tell you, they have received their reward. But whenever you pray, go into your room and shut the door and pray to your Father who is in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you. And whenever you fast, do not look dismal like the hypocrites, for they disfigure their faces so as to show others that they are fasting. Truly I tell you, they have received their reward. But when you fast, put oil on your head and wash your face, so that your fasting may be seen not by others, but by your Father who is in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you. Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust consume, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust consume, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." Here ends our gospel reading. Welcome again to our Ash Wednesday service and the beginning of our Lenten journey. This has been quite the year of transitions, of facing big issues, of adapting to a global pandemic and reframing what it means to care for ourselves and each other. In a lot of cases, we've had to just react to what is going on around us. And now we've come to Lent. Lent is a season of reflection when we take the time to consider what we've done with the time we have, and why. And why. That's the issue that we hear addressed in the gospel reading for today. Jesus tells people to beware of how you practice your piety and charity, and examine why you do approach it in that way. And this could be used for just about any activity or practice. Is what we're doing authentic or more performative? Are we doing whatever it might be, engaging with a cause or a charity, spending time at a certain place, or practicing for something? Are we doing whatever it is for the attention that we would get, or for the sake of the cause itself? Essentially, are we doing something because it's right or because it's popular? If we engage in a cause because we believe it is right, what are we doing to educate ourselves if we're not familiar with it? And how are we making sure that our actions are truly helping the cause? It should be noted that this is not to discourage joining a cause or doing something for charity. Jesus doesn't say, don't pray, or don't give, or don't participate. Rather, he says, don't hold the spotlight to yourself because you're doing these things, right? Whenever you give alms, do not sound a trumpet before you, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, so that they may be praised by others. Whenever you give alms, giving to charity is important. Being active in causes that benefit others and the world as a whole is important. Drawing attention to issues and working for change to make the world a better place is important. Adding your voice to increase the call for that change toward justice and peace, words from our baptismal promises, is important. letting your friends, family, and community know what you believe and engaging in significant, deep discussions is important. Doing so in order to get a personal pat on the back is what Jesus is warning against. I think we can see the difference. Lent is a time of year when we reflect on what we have done or not done with the time we have. Ash Wednesday pushes us to recognize our mortality and the limited amount of time that we have on earth. It's a more serious season, and we do things to remind ourselves of that. Some people may give up or add something to their daily practices. Again, not for the praise of others, but for the intentional engagement of ourselves with our faith. As a church, we do this. We have a more serious tone to our music and our worship services. We recognize that in these weeks of Lent. We add a time for worship in the middle of the week to give ourselves opportunity to check in and focus on our faith. Traditionally, we would put ashes on ourselves at this time, but again, not for the recognition or praise of others, but for our own learning and growth, so that when we look at ourselves in the mirror, or when we see others who may also have ashes on their foreheads, we remember the meaning of them. We are from dust, and to dust we shall return one day. We remember our mortality, and we walk in that dustiness during Lent, doing all we can for the sake of the gospel and our neighbors in the meantime. Reflecting on our limited time, we work to gain a sharper focus of our own priorities. What's really important, and what is less so? And then deciding how to invest our time and ourselves going forward. May our time this Lenten season bring us closer to God and to our own true selves as we grow, reflect, and learn together. Amen.